Hey guys, this is Jakob. I'm content manager and I'm helping small and medium enterprises with their content strategy. And welcome to a new LinkedIn Live session. So today I'm going to speak and give you 5 lessons that you have in mind if you want to start your own PR campaign. My podcast host. I'm a podcast host and I'm giving advice and lessons about content marketing. So my podcast is called Content Marketing Mastery, and there are different pillars within content marketing. And one area is earned media. This means PR. So how to get in contact with journalists, how you get mentioning within traditional media. So this is the area earned media, traditional media like newspaper or TV stations or online platforms, things like that. So how do you earn the trust of journalists who are the gatekeepers? So that's the reason why it is called earned media. You have to earn the respect of journalists in order to get mentioned. And I'm going to speak about how to do this. But let's first of all, before we jump into the technical things, so this is a live stream, so you can ask your questions live. This means you can type it into the comment section. So you can ask me any questions that you have related to PR or to content marketing. Doesn't matter. You can ask me in both areas. And you can type it into the comment section, or you can come into the show. So there's a link below this video. And there's also when you follow this link, you can come into the show and ask me your question. And I can see you also, which is a cool thing. And then we can have also a conversation together. So that's basically how it works with these live sessions. That's the cool thing. So before we jump into the technical things, so why is it important to think about PR? So why should you? It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or if you're in a big corporation or you own your own business or you're working for somebody else. It doesn't matter. If you get the fundamentals, you will gain momentum and you will get free traffic, free marketing that runs for your business or for the corporation that you're working for. So this is basically the main benefit that you get when you do PR. So there is, for example, an ad or something running in a newspaper, and it's basically for free when you do good PR. If you know how to do it. So that's a big benefit. It's like a free marketing campaign. Other people would pay money for being in the media, but you do it for free because you're smart and you get the lessons from me and you know how to approach journalists, and then you will get it for free. So this is benefit number one. So you will get free marketing that runs for you, for your interest, for your business. That's the main benefit. The other thing is, when you're mentioned in the media, it's good branding for you. I mean, you're building a personal brand with your business or with your company or whatever you're working for. And if you are mentioned in the media, you can use this. You can put this media mentioning on your website. You can or you can pitch other journalists, hire journalists who are working for national or international media. You can pitch them, and this works for you. This is a very effective tool in order to brand yourself and your company. So if you do good branding, you can use traditional media. That's the second benefit. And the third benefit is the traditional media is good for authority building. If I, for example, it's common sense. If I move to another city and I'm looking, for example, for a new doctor or for, I don't know, for a new sports club or something, I'm just Googling. And I'm always also checking Google News. So what's happening on Google News? Or is there, for example, I'm doing Taekwondo, so I'm typing in Taekwondo and the region that I'm living in, and then checking, is there something on Google News? Are there any sports clubs that are mentioned in the traditional media? And then I read and I find some sports club and I say, wow, okay, they have success in these competitions. Wow, that's cool. And they are mentioned, and this trainer is mentioned here, this coach is mentioned here. So I'm just checking and reading, researching what is going around and who is mentioned in the media about the area that I'm interested in. So you have to reverse engineer this. So what are people typing about your area? What are they typing on Google? And are they finding something about you on Google News? So many people use this tool because it's for free, and so therefore you should think about this strategically. So how can you position yourself within the traditional media? That's very important. So these are the three benefits that you have in mind when it comes to PR. So the first one was think about it like a free marketing that runs for you and your business. Second thing is you build a personal brand, a strong personal brand when you are mentioned within the media. And the third is authority builder through the traditional medium. Yes. So this is the question why you should think about the PR thing. And now I have 5 things that you have in mind, or 5 lessons if you want to start your own PR campaign. And it's not important how big your corporation is. You can be a solopreneur and still do PR. That's totally fine. So I'm going to share some ideas. So the first one is the mindset. So that's always a big one because oftentimes entrepreneur thinks, well, I'm just a small entrepreneur or a small business. Why should they listen to me? So, and I always say, only because you have a small business doesn't mean that you have to be small-minded. So always be aware that journalists are always looking for stories, for good stories. And if you can give them a good story, then it doesn't matter if you're just working as a solopreneur or as a small business owner or as a founder of a big corporation. It's not important. Maybe they are writing an article about how solopreneurs are reacting within COVID. You don't know. And then they're asking, they're contacting solopreneurs, 10 solopreneurs. And this can be you can be this if you're a solopreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a business coach. They want to write something about how business coaches are handling the situation with Corona in their region, for example. Yeah, you never know what type of story they are producing and what information they need. So always have this mindset that your story is important and that you as an entrepreneur have some expertise, some areas of knowledge that they are also interested in. You have to have this in mind, okay? So it doesn't matter if you're small or a big corporation, just think strategically about PR. That's very important. So this is number 1, very important, the mindset. Just be aware that journalists are looking for stories and looking for you, okay? So the second thing is network with journalists. So this sounds like a no-brainer, but people want to do PR and then they ask, okay, who are the 5 contacts, the 5 journalists that you want to work with? And then there's always silence. No answer to this question, oftentimes, in 99% of the cases, because they don't make the research before they think about this. They say, yeah, we need PR, but they don't think about the details. So because media is very broad, you have local media, you have you have in Germany, you have also these states on a state level, and you have on a national level, you have in international media. So there are many different levels of the media, and then you have also video journalists, you have newspaper journalists, you have radio journalists. So also different mediums, and all of them are different. So you have to decide yourself who I'm going to get in touch with. So who are the journalists that are writing about my topic already and I want to work with in the future? So can you name me 5? If somebody who's listening to this can name me 5, I will be very impressed, but I don't think that you can name 5 names. It's just oftentimes the fact, because people don't do their research. And the research is basically just going to Google News that I already mentioned. So go to Google News, type in your area of expertise that you want to own. In my case, it would be content marketing. And then I'm looking, okay, who's writing about content marketing? Who are the journalists who are writing all the time about this topic? Or you can also create a Google alert where you get emails when somebody is publishing about this topic. Could be also a good indicator to find out who's responsible for this topic, who's owning this topic. Okay, so you have to be first be aware of who is publishing about this topic. Who are the names that I want to get in touch with? What are the names of the journalists? What I do, for example, for clients, I make my research and then I have this Excel sheet, and oftentimes I have between 5 and 10 names, and that's it. You don't need 1,000 contacts. You need the 5 or the 10 right contacts, because journalists, they are very focused on their expertise. So somebody, for example, I worked as a digital editor for TV station and for newspaper and for magazines. And when you look how they are working, so just one person is, for example, in charge of economy, or one person is in charge of sports topic. One person is for politics. Okay, so there's always one person who's in charge of one or several fields. So for example, economy and politics or something. It depends always how much budget they have, but they are responsible for different topics. So they are divided, and you have to find out who's the right contact for you. That's very important. So this is the first step. If you know who's in charge, then the next step is to get in contact with this person. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sophie, for your like. You're writing it down. I hope so. Cool. If you have questions, please let me know. So if you know who is in charge, the next step is to get in contact. And this is in these days, it's very, very easy, because most journalists are also, for example, on LinkedIn. This is the tool that I use. This is how I also get in contact with a Forbes editor, with Tai Tran, who's these days head of marketing at a company called Meta. This is a software as a service solution. It's a company in Silicon Valley, and I liked his video content, and then we get in contact, and he quoted me in one of his Forbes articles. So if you type in my name and Forbes, you can find an article where I'm quoted. So I'm not the only one who's quoted, but he quoted me and put my name and what I said into this article. So, and basically I contacted him through LinkedIn and said, hey, I like your content. And so this was the first step. I get in touch with him through LinkedIn. So this is the next step. So finding, first of all, who's in charge of your topic. And the second step is to get in contact with this person, and don't pitch them. Okay. Don't pitch them, please. Don't do this. Don't do this. Just get in contact with this person. It's important just to build a relationship first, and then in a second step to offer them stories. So because I got these terrible pitches every day when I worked as a former journalist. So they are pitching and saying, yeah, do you want to write something about this topic? This is the first conversation they are starting with me. And I just even nowadays don't answer at this. So because that's not how you make business. You have to first build a relationship, a foundation, and then in the next step, you can pitch this person. So I don't know you, I don't trust you in the first place. So, and that's how journalists think. And you have to earn, like the earned media, you have to earn the trust of these persons. So you have to do something. So this is my lesson number 2, to network with journalists in the right way. So find out who are the people who are in charge of your topic. And the second step is to get in contact and get in contact with them through LinkedIn. In the old days, there were more ways how to get in touch with them. So for example, there is always an opening day where traditional media is opening for the readers or for the listeners, and you can visit the rooms within the building and speak with journalists. So this is how I, in my hometown, get in contact with a local newspaper. So I wanted to write something about Taekwondo, my sports club in my hometown, and I went to the local newspaper, introduced myself to the sports editors, and asked also for the email, for the phone number, got their cards, and so that was the first step. So I got their information, and then I sent them material. So you can do this too. It's not magic. You have to just be aware that you need one person that you want to speak with. That's very important. Yes. So this was lesson number 2, network with journalists. Number 3 is choose your platform. So like I mentioned before, there are different levels of journalist media. So you have to be aware that you can, because when I ask people, where do you want to be mentioned? Yeah, for of course, the New York Times, Forbes, Inc., and publications like this. But this is very competitive. So everybody wants to be there. It's not that easy to be mentioned there because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, and if you can pay them, this could be an option. But if you don't, I mean, if you're a solopreneur, most probably you don't have the budget to buy it, so you have to earn it again. So a good way to start is on a local level. So I'm sure it doesn't matter how big your city or how small your city is, there is a number of local media in your town. I'm from a small city, yeah, but there was a newspaper, there was a TV station, there was an online platform, there was a radio station, and I worked for these, not for all them, but for the TV and for the newspaper. But it's a good starting ground because you're living there. I mean, they are interested in you because you're living there. That's basically why it is already interesting for them. And I watched a couple of days. I watched a movie where somebody from France went to the Mount Everest without any training material. And first, he gave interviews for a local radio station. And what happens is, and this is very realistic, the local TV station is announcing and publishing things. And now a bigger media station read about this and also mentioned this. And after this media station, another read it and mentioned it too. So at the end, he was on national TV. So this is what happens because it's always starting on the local level and it's getting bigger and bigger because journalists are reading, but journalists are writing. So you have to have this in mind. So when you say, yeah, I want to be on national TV, yeah, well, maybe it's a better strategy to start first on a local level, and you will automatically grow within time because the journalists on the national level are reading what the smaller media stations are publishing. They're also, of course, reading, for example, the New York Times and bigger, but they are reading both. Okay, just have this in mind. So choose your platform, and a great way is start locally. And being also knowing where do you want to be mentioned is also a good idea. If you can name me 5 journalists that you want to work with, and also 5 publications where do you want to be mentioned, then you did your homework. Then I would be impressed. Okay, this was lesson number 3. Lesson number 4 is writing press releases. So this is I mean, if you're a solopreneur, you say, yeah, I'm doing enough things, so I'm busy already. I don't have time to write press releases. So if you create blog articles, then using the material from the blog articles for your press releases can be one strategy. But first of all, what is a press release? It is an official document that you have on your website, that you have as a PDF downloadable on your website. That is only for journalists who can download this. So many corporations, for example, they have as a PDF so that the journalists directly can download it. There are also pictures, material that they can use directly. So make it as easy as possible for the journalists. And when it comes to the content itself, so if you, for example, if you are planning an event in 2 months or something, an online event these days, not an offline event. So you're planning an online event about your topic and about how to build stronger relationships or how to be more motivated and be more focused during a pandemic, something like this. You have to have in mind that you create the press releases already before the event. So when I worked for the magazine, I always got this weird emails when they said something like, "Yes, today my book published. Thank you for mentioning my book in your magazine." And I thought, okay, so no. I mean, this is completely unrealistic. I mean, what date is today? So we are in March now. So when it comes to print magazines, they need the most time. So if you want to pitch a print magazine, you have to start very, very early. So for example, March. When we speak about the March magazine, this is a magazine that is published on a monthly basis. Okay, just an example. So when are the journalists planning the March magazine? They're not planning the March magazine in March. That's just not realistic. They're planning it already in December of the year before. So 3-4 months. They speak about the topics that are relevant. They speak about pictures they need, the travel, the expenses they are going to do, because they have to do it before the thing is published. Okay, but because I say this because many people just don't realize that there are time frames. You have to be aware of this fact. So it's not like, yeah, they're waking up and then writing a story. You have to plan all these things. So 3 or 4 months before the magazine is published, you have to contact the journalists. So this means for you, for example, if you're a business coach and you want to pitch a magazine about business related topics, and you're planning an online event in March, when do you have to contact them? In December already. Okay, you have to be you have to have this in mind. So the print magazines are the longest, where the time frame is the longest. So when it comes to newspaper, I would say 1 month before the event. When it comes to TV stations, I would always at minimum 1 month before. Yeah. When it comes to online publications, that's 2 weeks are already enough. 2 weeks or something. So always before the event is happening. So what are topics that are also relevant to write press releases about? Or first of all, what should I write into a press release? So the W question. So who, where, what, why. So write very very short, half a page, for example. What is your topic and why is it relevant for this publication? Yeah. So what are you doing? So for example, when we mentioned the online event, so on March the 10th, our corporation is going to start an online event, how to overcome the pandemic and have a more fulfilled, more richer life. So we are doing this because we believe that people have to overcome the situation in a positive way, something like this. And then you say something about you. Why are you organizing it? Because you think that more people should live a fulfilled life, something like this. And also giving details about yourself. So what is the company name and your website and the contact details about you, how can they contact you. And if you have pictures, material, send also the pictures to within this press release. So it's not about writing any fiction or something. You have to write. You have to communicate in a very clear and easy way. What are you doing, and why is it relevant for them? That's it basically. So don't write a 10-page fiction. It's about the facts, and it should be as short as possible. Yeah, because when journalists get so many pitches and bad pitches, so they just saying, okay, no, 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 not relevant, no, no, next. So you have to be you have to be in mind of them, and so first of all, get in contact with them, and then write good press releases. And if you need help with press releases, just let me know. Maybe I can do also another session about this topic, because I can deep in more detail and speak more in detail about this. So writing the press releases is the fourth thing, and the fifth thing is create good content. I mean, press release is just one part, but if you are online, so when people Google you or your topic, are you in any way searchable? So what are people finding about you? This means, are there any video material about you? I mean, I'm doing these live sessions, people can see me and also ask questions. This is very important. So what video material is there? How many pictures can they find about you? Is there a podcast that you produce? You don't have to do it all, but I think video is a good starting point, because, for example, I have this business partner that I'm working with these days, and the first connection was through his podcast. So I wrote this article, and basically I searched for business podcasts because I wanted to add them into my article, and I looked for cool material and cool podcasts, and I found him and his podcast. And I also checked his name, Googled it, and found also video material where he's interviewed, and I said, wow, cool guy. And I put him into the article. And this was 4 years ago, and in these days we are working together because I really like him, I trust him, and we are doing projects together. And this is how it works. So just be aware that if you are seeable, visible in this sense that people can really see you on a video, or can see you on pictures or on audio material, you're more reachable for people and also for journalists, because they will always check your name, your profile, and also want to check if you're a real person, if you're a trustable person. And I mentioned already that I did also the PR for my sports club, my Taekwondo sports club, and this is also a cool thing. What I did is we went to competitions. By the way, competitions and things that you won, for example, for example, some awards or things like that. These are always topics that are where I would focus within the press releases. If you win, for example, an award, this is something that you should do, that you should write a press release about, because this is newsworthy. There are newsworthy topics, and you should focus on these. So winning an award or a competition, or doing something extraordinary, and publishing a book, for example, things like this are newsworthy, and you should have this in mind. So I want to say something about the fifth lesson, creating good content. So I was with my sports club, my Taekwondo sports club, on a competition, and we recorded some of the parts where we did our stuff, and I uploaded these videos into our sports club YouTube channel. So I created an own YouTube channel for the sports club, so where I uploaded video material about Taekwondo, where we were on competitions and things like that. And I wrote a press release for the local newspaper and for an online platform, news online platform. And I sent this press release, and I also added the link to this YouTube video. So I said, okay, hey, last weekend we were on this competition, and we had, I can't remember, first prize. We won an award, I think, and these are the people who attended from our sports club. And by the way, here's also a video from from this competition where we won. And you can see, you go onto the link, and you can directly see the people from our sports club who are on the competition and doing their kicks and things like that. And they took this video and they published it on their Facebook fan page. And I can't remember the names, the numbers, but I think they had at least 10,000 followers on Facebook. I'm just not sure about the numbers, but it's not, the numbers are not what is important. The important thing is this idea that you make it as easy as possible for them, so that they just take it and publish it, and many people can see it. So this brings you traffic, this brings you authority, this brings you likes, and people, when they search for Taekwondo and also the city name, they will find this video on the news. So this is something worth doing, because it's free media. You don't have to pay for it. They need this kind of information, and you can do this too. Yeah, that's important. That is what I wanted to share. So these are the 5 things that I wanted to give you. So the first was mindset. Just believe that you have something to share that is newsworthy. That's very important. So the second thing is to correctly network with journalists. So identify the 5 journalists that you want to work with, and also the 5 media platforms that you want to work with, and get in touch with them. So through LinkedIn, or go to online live events where you can get in connection with them, and choose your platform. So in which publication do you want to be mentioned? So, and the good strategy is to start on a local level. That's very important. And starting to write press releases. That's also very important. That you start to write press releases, or in a bigger strategy point, start creating good content at all. So creating video material, or creating podcasts where you interview people and give valuable information to other people. That's it, basically. So everybody can do this. It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or business coach, or working in a big corporation. Everybody can do this. And I wanted to share also another story. I published on Amazon KDP. I published I published several ebooks, but I had this one of my first. So it was about entrepreneurship, because I think entrepreneurs are the coolest guys on this planet. So because they are they're doing modern alchemy. So they are producing from nothing something. So this means entrepreneurs have an idea, which is, first of all, nothing worth, because an idea is just an idea. But what they are doing is, from this idea, they're creating a business. They are hiring people. They are creating revenue. They are growing with their business. They're expanding in other countries. And this is, for me, modern alchemy. And I published this ebook about entrepreneurship. And I wrote, like I said before, I wrote a press release, and I pitched different journalists, and really big names were interested. And they said, yeah, well, what about an interview? Is this really exclusive only for us? Can we, or do you want to write a guest article for our publication? So this really works. It doesn't matter. And at that time, I was a student. I didn't have any business or something. I was a student, and I published this because I wanted to create some digital revenue and work and practice with business models. So I created this ebook and published it, and wanted to market it also. So it works. Doesn't matter if you're in a big corporation or not. So that's it, basically, my 5 lessons on PR. So are there any questions? Oh, Mehmet is here. Welcome, Mehmet. Okay, let me check. So far, yes. So it's very important that you just start. That's the important thing. It's not about writing the perfect press release or something. It's about getting started and train yourself that you have something that is worth sharing. Yeah, that is newsworthy. And I will always start first of all creating content, and then also getting in contact with journalists, the right journalists, like I said. And then the next step is to expand these contacts and write press releases for them. So that's it basically. If there are no questions, that's it for today. I really enjoyed this session. If you have any questions about PR or content at all, just let me know. Write it into the comment section, or next time you can come to the show. And I hope to see you and meet you soon again. And already wish you a cool weekend. Yeah, it's Friday. Okay, take care and stay healthy and safe. Bye bye.